Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Pranshu, and today I'm joined by Abhijit Kurde. More about him and us shortly. Before we start, I want you to know that your questions are most welcome. Please put them in the Q&A section, and we will go through them after Abhijit is done with today's agenda. So I'll quickly introduce WalkingTree Technologies. WalkingTree Technologies is a technology-focused company with a core focus on designing and building cross-platform web and mobile applications, perform system integrations, and enable digital transformation. Our services span the entire software development lifecycle for clients across the world. Our flexible staff augmentation services provide clients with on-demand skills and resources to help meet organizational and business objectives. To know more about us, do check out our website and our social media handles on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter. On to today's speaker. We have Abhijit with us today. Abhijit. Abhijit is a UX lead here at WalkingTree Technologies, and in a career of over 19 years, Abhijit has worked on all roles covering design and project management. A passionate designer, he has overseen large transformation programs across multiple industries. Welcome, Abhijit, and over to you. Hello, hi, Abhijit. Am I audible?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
So, good morning, good evening. Welcome to today's webinar. Today's topic is service design, and as a service design is a very vast field. And today, since it's our first webinar, we will be covering a very high-level view of what service design is, what are the components, what are the processes, examples of service design. Feel free to put your questions in the chat box. Before we start, learn more about service design, we need to understand what is service and a product. So traditional economics draws a clear distinction between product and services. Products are sorry. So before I start with service design, we will be having a 45-minute session on service design, its components and processes, and we will have a 15 to 20 minutes question and answer session where I'll try to answer your questions. The key takeaways from today's webinar will be more about what is service design. There will be service design examples, the first stage, front stage and backstage service design, the value of taking service design approach, and the industries who are focusing on service design, and of course how we handle service design at WalkingTree. So we will start learning with what service design. Before that, we will study about what services. So traditional economics draws a clear distinction between product and services. Products are tangible and consumable products like pens, sunglasses, or shoes. Services are instantaneous exchanges that are intangible and don't result into ownership, like a medical treatment or a postal service or a public transportation. Today, there is no longer that clear distinction between products and services. I will give you an example. Remember those days when we used to go to a music store to buy music in the form of CDs or in the form of cassettes. Now we download or we listen to music or we stream to music, and that comes to us as a service from the platforms like Spotify or Ghana. Services are everywhere. Like services, think about your everyday life and how many services you use. Dentist, the public transport, your local coffee shop, buying a sandwich, So service design is a relatively new term. The field as service design as a field exists for many years, but it is not known to people. So, so what is service design? The service design is as per Wikipedia, the service design, the definition of service design is the service design is an activity of planning and arranging people, infrastructure, communication, and material components of a service in order to improve its quality and interaction between service providers and the users. Service design may function as a way to inform changes to an existing service or create new service entirely. Now, to explain service design, I'll give you example of a coffee shop. Now, you go to a coffee shop where we get an excellent coffee, but the service is very bad. You will not go there again. If again you get a very good service, but the product or the coffee is not good, you will not go there. You get good coffee and good service, but the product or the menu is not very clear. You don't know what you can get there, what is the pricing. You will again not use that service. All the three things, like the menu is good, you had communicated properly, you have a good taste of coffee, so service is good, but they don't offer a sitting space, or they don't allow they don't offer an ambience where you can spend a long time have your meetings. In that case, you will not use it. So to make that so to sell all the services and make you come again, give customer a very good experience, uh, the coffee shop needs to work on all the 3 4 different aspects of making a good product, presenting it properly, giving a good service, giving a good ambience. So that is what service design is all about. uh, in 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 past, during 1990s or 20 30 years back, the products or the products were sold to us in a one-way direction. Like, they used to advertise, sell the product, and the consumer were not able to complain about or give their feedback about that product, because there was no system present to for a consumer to go back and complain about it. But now the things have changed with the social media, with smartphones. Consumer can complain, consumer can give feedback, consumers give. So companies need to think about how the services provided. So service, for me, a service design is a practice results in the design of system and processes aimed at providing a holistic service to the user. Service design starts after the first contact with the company. Like, we're clicking on advertising banner, goes uh, to the you find the information about product, you place an inquiry about product, you visit the store, or you try to get more information about it. Everywhere service design will play a role. So why service design? Why service design is more important? Why service design is required? So typically, service design is used when the organization is looking to improve the service to its customer by looking at an individual channel, such as their website, call center, printed support material, or so on. Or an organization may wish to improve services for a type of customer or a particular area of their business. In our work, we are typically involved designing new, improving existing or digital services such as website, mobile application, in-store kiosk, software application, and so on. So so now, as I explained, the nature of service is changing. Earlier we used to sell product, now we used to sell service. Like, when we talk about the examples of service design, uh, uh, I'll just come to the examples now. Think about McDonald's, or think about Starbucks. The better example is McDonald's, where you can see a consistent experience throughout all their stores. The product is similar, the way the product is presented is similar, but how they achieved it. So they focused on the services. They also focused on giving the products which they can manage easily with a standard procedure, and that's how they control the services, they control the processes, and they could give a very good consistent service at all the touch points. The second example is, we can take a Nike example. Earlier, we used to buy only shoe from Nike. Now we buy a complete experience. They provide us all the trackers. They provide us the app which can track your activities, which can give you the health, um, tell us about your health status, how much time you have, how much calories you have burned. Now, why that is needed? Because people are now looking for more value in the product. So that's how service design is coming into picture, where the service design helps people to connect, to get more information, to get more value about, from their product. So we are talking about changing nature of services. So you can see everywhere now a product is accompanied by some service to increase the value. Now coming back to, so service design is an activity of planning, organizing a business resources like people, processes in order to directly improve the employee experience and indirectly the customer experience. Now, so this is service design. So service design is about designing the ecosystem, delivering meaningful experience to users across the physical and digital touchpoints. What is service design and what it can do? So integrative human-centric approach that balances needs of the users and needs of the organization to create seamless experiences, ensure their successful implementation and long-term business is what service design is. The collaborative and agile way of to reach a maximum impact during the development, establish a culture and a mindset for the future is service design. And what it can do, it can get deep insights about your customer experience. It can identify innovation opportunities beyond traditional product offering, create holistic experience across all the physical and digital touchpoints, shift from product oriented to service oriented business model. Now, if you see definition of service design is like it's a holistic approach to do which takes care of the customer experience and also staff experience and operation. So service design as a whole is taking care of customer, staff, products, operation structure, everything. Now, what is designing a service and a service design? So this is an example of how like what is designing a service. So maybe like this is an example where at the airport we have a check-in counter. So we are designing a service for that check-in counter where we are concerned only about what happens on that particular counter, how the users are interacting with each other, what information is being exchanged, what kind of products are being exchanged. So this is only about what is happening on that counter, which is designing a service. But when we think of an entire check-in process, it involves many touch points where right from your security baggage security check to scanning the baggage, then unloading, all these parts we have to consider while doing the service design, where we give a very unique experience to the customer. So service design is about considering all the touch points, all the people, all the props which are involved in completing the task, where the designing of service is focused only on the touch points. So in the example of service design is all around us, ranging from checking kiosks to the boarding pass at an airline, the way you order at a restaurant. Some of the examples are branding system, managing shipments, customer service system, like transport booking services, healthcare system. Everywhere nowadays you can see every service design is like it's adopted everywhere. It is like every time you do some product designing, service design is also considered. So what is difference between a product design, service design, and UX design? So service design is the creation of user-friendly, convenient, sustainable design solution for a customer in the service industry by a service designer. Product design is a process of holistic approach that involves identifying a market opportunity, understanding a problem, developing a creative solution for that problem. UX design is simply a user experience. It casts the first impression about the company on the customer, and it acts as a face of the company. Now, what is the relation between service design and UX design? Service design is if you see this particular diagram. Service design and core holistic. It considers every touch points between the company and its user, regardless of being analog and or digital. It and defines the service as a whole. This includes designing completely new service propositions or customer journeys or service blueprints. Uh, the following serves are in words like you see UI design. UX design consists of UI and UX. CX, customer experience, will have all the customer facing things like UX and UI design, where we design the entire experience for a customer. So this is not a user centric, this is a customer centric. And service design takes care of user centric, customer centric, UI design, and also all the physical and digital touch points which may impact the customer's experience. So UX design is more like typically focuses on front stage only. Experience design typically focuses on the front stage, but mostly on a customer interaction. Service design focuses on front stage, backstage. Service design enhances and optimizes the customer experience, as well as the behind scene mechanics to support it, include employees, processes, technology, governance, organizational structures, change management policies, and culture. So this figure will tell you so what is a user experience and what is service design. User experience is more about when we go to a particular bank ATM, or what we see on screen is all about user experience, how we see our statements, how we withdraw money. All this is about user experience. But service design will take care of all the back end works, where the ATM is integrated with server, it is integrated with bank, it gives you the SMS alerts. All things will happen to service design. So service design, what are the service design principles? So service design is people focused, research based, iterative, and participatory. Service design principles are: a service design should design a service according to the demand of the service and the genuine need of improvement of the service according to the customers. Service design is completely focused on user experience. So customers' needs are more important while doing the service design. Based on the feedback received from the users and services, by prototyping the services in order to save time, cost associated with the improvement, that should deliver consolidated and productive outcome. It creates value for the users, and it should be simple yet efficient at the same time. So the components of service design. So service design focuses on 3 P's, which is people, props, and processes. In people, the examples are like the employees, the customers, the fellow customers encountered through the service partners. This people component includes anyone who creates or uses the service, as well as individuals who may indirectly affected by the service. The props are the physical spaces like storefront, tailor window, or the conference room where we meet and discuss all these things. Digital environment through which web pages, blogs, social media posts are the digital props. This component refers to the physical or digital artifacts that are needed to perform the service successfully. Processes are something like withdrawing the money from the ATM, getting an issue resolved or support, interviewing a new employee, sharing a file. So all these processes, workflows, procedures, and rituals performed by either employee or the user are the processes. So service design is compiled of these 3 props. Customer journey. So people, processes, and props together are involved in a customer journey, and they are used to create a better service design. In service design, we have a different element like the customer centric elements like expectation, emotion, elegance, engagement, and provider centric elements like engineering, economics, economics. So we have to have a balance of all these to create a customer delight. Service design process is no different than the UX process. So service design is a step forward to is a step ahead to UX process, where we have to consider all the touch points, all the physical and right now in today's world, UX design is mostly focused or considered as a digital as at a digital product. It is focused at a digital product, but service design also takes care of all physical touch points, all kind of people and everything. So in terms of process, the UX design and service design process will be same, where we explore, we do concept designing, we do prototyping, and we do implementation. We consider like vision, personas, location plan, journey map, blueprint. Blueprint is something which is different than UX. Blueprint is where we, excuse me. So service blueprint is where we map all the service design touch points, we map all the processes, and we create a big picture about how the service will be designed, what will be the components, what will be the touch point, who are the users. So service blueprint will include all these things, which is different than a UX design project. The service design process is similar to UX, where we have the like overview of typical service design methodology, where we have we consider framing, user insights, where we spend time with user, understanding their processes, understanding what they want, creating an empathy map for that user, studying the personas, the people who are going to use the services. Ideation, create different solutions, number of solutions for the problems which we are facing, for the insights from the users, and then create a service blueprint, and then create a prototype and test it. So this is a typical service design methodology which we follow. So like UX, service design also is based on design thinking, where we do not create a product first and try to sell it to customer, but we think about the user first, their needs first, and then create a product. So similar way is followed in service design, where the service design is user centered, collaborative, iterative, sequential, real, and holistic. It will consider all the elements, all the touch points, and so service design is potentially be applied the shaping of much human activity. So this is service design thinking process, where general problems we discover and define the general problem statement. We ideate and develop a solution for that particular problem. We prototype and reflect, and this is the iterative process, where discovery, define, ideation, develop, prototype, and reflect. All these processes are iterative process which can repeat it till we get a proper solution. So as I said, this is more like an iterative solution, where we can go back to the previous phases until we get a proper solution for the customer. So service design mindset is more customer centric, technology driven, and it runs around viable and sustainable business model. So now when we come to service design, so UX and service design together is optimized. UX and service design should be done parallel with equal effort. What is in user UX design, we focus on user interface and user actions, but in service design we have to focus on some of the front stage action, some of the backstage actions, and support processes. So what is front stage actions? Some front stage actions are some actions which are visible to customer, where customer is actually involved. Backstage actions are something like the customer is not directly involved, but these actions will definitely impact the customer's experience. And to complete the backstage actions or personally, we need to have support processes which are completely hidden from the backstage people also. These are more like support processes which are independent. So UX is more user centric, and the service design is more employee centric. So going to detail about what is front stage. The front stage is where the user actions happen usually between the service provider and the client. It's often called visible area, since it's the part of service where the audience can see what is happening. Backstage is where support and organization of everything are done to make the front stage happen. At the moment we enter invisible area and scenes no longer accessible to the user. Behind the scenes, lastly, the intangible elements like regulation, policies, budgets that the organization does to make both front and backstage possible. This is as in the backstage, this area is considered as invisible. So front stage components include the channels, product, touch points, the interfaces. Backstage components include policies, technology, infrastructure, and systems. So what is the service design approach? So service design approach puts people first. It always starts with understanding the people you are designing for and ends with the creating solution that suits their needs. Importantly, service designers work in close collaboration with companies, staff, customers to develop and improve their services. So it is co-creative, focuses on evidences because people are at the center of the whole process. Genuine real-time representative feedback is used to direct the resource and planning. Sometimes we work or we create some product based on assumptions, and which may tend to fail or which may not be usable for the customers. So in that case, service design has a process, or service design approach focuses on what customer is saying, what customer has experienced in past, what is his feedback, and based on that we do designing of a service so that it is used by the customer and customer experience is enriched. So what is the value of taking a service design approach? What benefits service design can give us? So service design ensures that the product and services developed for users and group of the purchasing customers. Service design ensures the delivery of value to the customer and customer's customer. Service design also looks at service development from the customer's perspective. So better understand your customer, improve team communication. It help you to understand your customers and help you to improve the team communication, provide a great service, embrace organizational changes, stand out from the crowd, and reduces redundancy and cost. Because of a well-planned service design, you may save a good amount of money on restructuring or reorganizing your services and products. So there are some common terms which are used in service design. So now I'll try to explain those terms, which is like channel is a specific medium in which the interaction takes place. Touch point is a single point of interaction between customer and service, and blueprint is a breakdown of both end-to-end customer experience and as well as surface to core backstage of your business process, systems, and actors and policy. Actors are the people who are involved in the service. So coming back to the services, like the benefits of service design, or why we need a service blueprint. So service blueprint is a diagram that visualizes relationship between the different service components, people, props, physical and digital evidences and processes that are directly tied to the touch points and specific customer journey. Service blueprint is a very important part of service designing, where we bring all the problems, all the everything together to create a roadmap or a blueprint for the customer, where it gives you a big picture. Benefits of service designing. Service design blueprints give an organization a comprehensive understanding of its service and underlying sources and processes, seen and unseen to the user. That makes it possible. Focusing on this larger understanding, we have so it provides strategic business and benefits for the business. So that is what we have about service design. Now coming back to how we at WalkingTree, how we do service design. So in WalkingTree, we handle service design in a very structured way, where we do market research, we create a service strategy, we do a service marketing, customer experiences are mapped, customer service is mapped, design is done for all these things, and we also develop the business processes to make the services interactive and more create more value to the customer. So we provide templates to seek the data. We have UX design team, and the tools which we use to do a service design is service blueprint, communication prototypes, and customers lifecycle maps. uh, we carry service design through creative ideas. Customer are interacted with, corporate branding is studied, and company branding is analyzed. We study user diary, we study personas, business model canvas, and scenarios to make a very comprehensive service design blueprint. At WalkingTree, we also do product design, the customer experience design, UX design, and service design. Um, we have excellent user experience. We create a very excellent user experience. Our strategies are user-led. Immense industry expertise is working with us. Like we have analysts, the system designers, solution architects, and also expert service designer with us. And our services are cost-effective and timely. So this is what we have about service design. Now we will answer your questions if you have any questions, or there is any particular topic you want more clarification on, because service design is a very vast topic, and we cannot cover that in one session. So we are planning to have one more session on this, how to create a service blueprint. Also we will focus on case studies where we have done service design, and how we have approached that. So we will be having one more webinar in coming time to address the very detailed service design process, and some case studies about service design.
Right. Thank you, Abhijit. We do have a few questions. The first one being, what is a touch point?
Okay. Just a second. I'll just give you examples. Touch point is something sorry. So touch point is any interaction, like your website, or a social media post, or a store. So a touch point is any interaction, physical or digital, that might alter the way that your customer feels about your product, brand, or business or service. So it can be, as I told, it can be a physical or a digital platform where the customer is getting more information about your product, your services, or he is getting the service done from you at that particular point.
All right. We have Dhruv asking us, can you talk about the case studies in brief?
So I will give you an example about a service design project which I have done earlier. So I was supposed to design for so we had a company who was into customized home interior. So they wanted us to design their costing engines, which were used by their designers. So they wanted to give a customized quotation to a customer. If you understand the interior field, they people need to know the budget, or the exact budget, before they hand over the work to any agency like a carpenter or a company. So I was asked to create a costing engine for that particular company, but the creating costing engine needed some kind of inputs like a standard product. Since this is customized, it was very difficult to create a standard product which can be costed before it is given to a customer. Like the costing process itself took around 3 to 4 days, but here the goal was to create the costing in 15 to 20 minutes or maximum half an hour. So to achieve that, what we did is we worked on the product that is offered, how the product is offered, what is the configuration, what are the maximum things that can be given. Together that we also worked on a standard product list that goes into a software, that design software, where the designs are actually created. To do the design, we needed a standard process where a salesperson uploads the customer requirement floor plan before the designer start doing the service. So to do one costing engine, we have to restructure the entire product offering. We have to we have to decide some processes. We have to design some processes where the requirements and the floor plan is available. Now the designer now has created something, but how that data, the costing is given to a customer, but how that costing will be used by others. So we have to create one more process, one more system to send that particular costing with all the material list to the factory directly. So the project was to design only a particular costing engine, but at the back end there were many services or many different tools. People were involved to provide that service. So this is an example, a case study of the service design. We can definitely connect on this where I can explain you more examples.
All right. Beloa wants to know what is the difference between process mapping and a service design blueprint.
So process mapping is something where we work on a particular particular touch point. Maybe I had given you an example of a check-in counter. The process mapping is more about what happens on that particular check-in counter, but the service blueprint takes care of all the actions that happens before or after that touch point. So service blueprint is a very gives a bigger picture of how the entire service will be delivered. Process mapping is only at a single touch point. So any other question? Pranshu?
Yes. How is this different from contextual inquiry?
Who has asked this?
This is from UX enthusiasts.
I will connect with you personally on this. Right now, I don't have a particular answer for this.
All right. So to UX enthusiasts, if you can just directly message your email ID and we can connect over this topic. We have a few more questions. How service design can exactly help a business?
So service design can by connecting all the touch points, all the backend processes, all the people. Service design will ensure that there is minimum errors. The product is delivered, or the service is delivered with a maximum efficiency, thus reducing your cost. If you don't implement your service properly, there will be complaints about your products where we need resources to solve those complaints or address those complaints. So service design in a way will help reducing your cost, optimizing your resources, and also giving customer a very holistic experience where they will recommend this product to others and they will also repeatedly use it. So that is what we achieved through service design.
The question is, when should we be using service blueprint?
The service blueprint is created at a very beginning of the project when the customer comes to you with a product. So while designing a product, you should think about how that product will be implemented, who will be using it. So the service blueprint will give you an idea about all the touch points, or all the people process, everything that is involved in service design. So it is better to do it at a very beginning when you get the requirement and you understand your user.
All right, and from UX enthusiasts once again, is service design above customer experience?
Service design is above customer experience. It will create it will ensure that all your customer touch points, all your customer. Can you hear me, Pranshu?
Yes, Vijit, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Abhijit.
So, service design is So service design is above customer experience. It will make sure that your customer experience is enriched, it is consistent, and it gives a very it gives a consistent experience to the user. So it is definitely above the customer experience.
Right. I think one more question from the same person. What is the difference between work process and workflow?
See, workflow is where we are you design a flow so that your task is completed, and a process is where you create a uh, standard action plan to complete your task. Like that is something which ideally should be done, but workflow is something which is focused on a particular task, and process is focused mostly on entire service that is going to be provided.
All right. Do we have any more questions? We do have some time left. I suppose that's all we have for today. Thank you once again, Abhijit. And to everyone, if you still have any questions, you can always write back to us at connect@walkingtree.tech. We'd be most happy to reach out to you and discuss anything in regards to service design or UI UX design in general. Yep. Thanks a lot, everyone. And I hope to see you in our next future sessions on UI UX design webinars. And we have many other topics coming up in the coming weeks. Thanks all.
Thank you everyone.